Do you like fishing?
Yeah.
Maybe you prefer mining. Most importantly, do you find joy in culling populations of local protected species to make hats and pants from their remains? Welcome to Monster Hunter, a game that asks completionists to spend 30 to 50 hours doing tedious chores and mind-numbingly easy battles before they can start really playing. Before you get mad, I love Monster Hunter. The same can't be said for a lot of the fan base who, evidenced by a lot of review bombing, actually despise it. Or at least they despise Capcom's decisions in handling the series. Anyways, to stay on topic, I'd like to be upfront and just say right away, no, Monster Hunter isn't an MMO. It's an action game, with intelligently designed monsters having so much detail, huge and flashy movesets, unique behaviors for specific situations. They feel as alive and developed as the player character, if not more. You fight these monsters to make stronger weapons and armor to fight more monsters. That basic progression is, in my opinion, what defines a lot of RPGs. But there's no leveling up, no stats or skill trees or stuff like that. It's all about the gear, and by extension, it's all about the monsters, and you learning how to hunt them. Most will call it an RPG, but I think it approaches the aspects of that genre differently enough that it begs the question, is this really an RPG? And that's true for Monster Hunter in a more general sense. It's hard to fit into a box. You can't easily define it by comparing it to any other game. It's Monster Hunter. It serves as an interesting canvas for painting thought experiments about genre, and so here we have this video. What about it is an MMO? Well, co-op gameplay has always been important to the series. Even the first game, released in 2004 for the PS2, let the player go online to hunt in 4-player lobbies. Still, some consider Monster Hunter to be a single-player game with optional multiplayer, but I feel like that description lacks some nuance. I'd say that the game is at its worst in single-player, and best when you get around to grinding through the endgame with friends online. Let's look at this series' most recent title and see how it approaches the relationship between single-player and multiplayer. A staple of this series is how the player progresses through 2 or 3 ranks, low, high, and G rank. You start in low rank, and it's here that you experience most of the game's story and cutscenes, introducing characters, most of the monsters, and guiding your hunter through each game's scenario. There are probably people out there that love Monster Hunter stories, but I'll stand by that even at their best, they're only decent, and the overarching lore of the series is more compelling. The Hunters Guild is cool and has W aura or whatever, and what I like most about it is that it enables multiplayer that makes sense in lore. You're just one of many hunters in the guild, and when you get together in the Gathering Hub, you're enlisting the help of your comrades for difficult quests. A lot of players probably won't interact with the multiplayer features as they go through low rank, and it's fitting because you really are more like a chosen one, the best hunter anyone has ever seen as you go through the story. Then, the closer you get to the endgame, you're humbled, assimilated as another face in the sea of millions of the guild's hunters, and you're more likely to play multiplayer. Before Monster Hunter World, there was a distinction between exclusively single-player village quests and guild quests, those that you could choose to play solo, but Monster HP was tuned for online groups, so some content was sort of locked behind an online requirement, or you could choose to subject yourself to long, difficult hunts that ultimately just wouldn't be as fun if you chose to do it alone. Now, in Wilds, you can do all story quests with friends with no distinction between village and guild quests. If you're in a quest alone, Monster HP will be balanced with that in mind, and the moment that a player joins you, it scales up, and again at 3 players and 4. It's easier now to either play the entire game solo or co-op from start to finish. It's still true though that low rank is very easy and you won't be enlisting other hunters to help with hunts out of necessity. What I want to ask is, what's most fun? And how does the game intend for you to play? I'll assert that Monster Hunter has always intended to be a social game. That's how it's advertised, and the guild as a framing mechanism for the game's online systems is too perfect to ignore. I think that people who choose to go at it alone are ignoring a core aspect of this series' identity. What Monster Hunter is about, above all else, is the grind. My fondest memories are of friends and I hopping into the Gathering Hub on Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, all needing different monster drops, taking turns posting quests, helping each other build gear, and just grinding, like real-ass gamers, while chatting and laughing and having a good old time. Each game has a slow introduction of systems that leads up to that fun, social experience. That was over a decade ago, and now I think that sort of experience is still the peak of the gameplay. And, well, maybe I'm different now, but there's something about it that doesn't quite hit like it used to. What's changed?
War has changed. When the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
This isn't a unique sentiment. There's a common distinction now between classic Monster Hunter and what's been made by the console team since World, now continued by Wilds. There's a long list of differences that we don't need to exhaust. I'd like to focus just on how online play is approached differently. When I played the 3DS titles, the systems for searching through lobbies and getting online admittedly felt clunky and archaic. With World, Capcom tried to extend the franchise's success beyond Japan. The series needed to adopt new ideas for multiplayer, and it naturally fit into the mold of the always online live service type game. No, it's not really always online. You can play offline, but what's new since World are things like daily login bonuses and limited time events, benefiting and appealing to players who are constantly keeping up with the game in fear that they fall behind or miss out on new content. And while Wilds can be played offline, it's weird how when you launch it, this is the screen that you see. Spam A to get in-game and you'll join a recommended lobby. You can search for lobbies or pick online single player. What about offline single player? Your system needs to actually be disconnected to play offline. Then you can't access daily login bonuses, event quests, and bounties, which are menial daily and weekly missions for rewards. You are urged towards a connected experience, seeing a bunch of other players running around the Grand Hub, giving a sense of a shared world knowing that others are progressing alongside you, experiencing the same events. Despite that, multiplayer in Monster Hunter has felt less impactful to me than it used to. Why is that? Well, SOS flares are a feature that you're quickly taught to use in Wild's tutorial that lets other people from the massive player base join your quest with a single button press. It's seamless. Other people will join, help to murder the target, they'll satisfy their blood craving, get their monster carves, and you'll probably never substantially communicate with them. In classic Monster Hunter, it was more quality over quantity. Less people online, more friction in finding a lobby, but it felt incredibly meaningful when you got into a lobby of 4 solid hunters who were on the same page. You couldn't join mid-quest. You set out together, worked as a team, and felt accountable in a way that the fleeting, transient multiplayer experience that SOS flares provide doesn't replicate. I don't want to come across as a hater. I've put a decent number of hours into Wilds and have had fun with it. There's plenty to like and dislike about it all, but it's undeniable that it falls into the trend of hub-based, shared world games like Warframe or Destiny. Maybe it's incorrect to say Monster Hunter is becoming more like an MMO, but certainly that idea of games as a service is adjacent to MMOs. The recent prevalence in the games industry of that approach to online play doesn't appeal to everyone, so I hope that this change hasn't alienated too many veteran fans, and they can see how there are some upsides to this structure, and that Monster Hunter heading in that direction was sort of inevitable. Even if it makes multiplayer with randoms more impersonal than before, it doesn't change the fun to be had in hopping into a Discord call with friends and grinding out hunts. I keep circling around it and I can't stress it enough. It's all about the Sigma Hunter grind set. So, hey, I'm coming at this from the perspective of a Monster Hunter fan. I don't want to step on any toes, and I'm just giving my opinion, but I want to say this. MMO on its own is a pretty meaningless descriptor for a game. MMORPG bears more meaning, but I've intentionally avoided using that term in this video for this reason. I contend that this series is establishing a pattern over time of having an early game story that's like an RPG and an end game that's like an MMO, but in all, it's never really an MMORPG. So then, what does it mean to just be an MMO? Some would say 4-player lobbies aren't massive enough to put Monster Hunter in the same category as World of Warcraft or EVE Online, with battles potentially involving 100 plus players. But it's not productive to interpret MMO literally, word by word like that. What's more important are the elements conventionally associated with the term. Divorcing the RPG elements from the equation, What I personally associate with MMO is the mere impression of interconnectedness and the capacity to have meaningful cooperation and communication with other players. Even more than that, though, an important aspect to note is, of course, the grind. I'm a sucker for gigantic time sink games, and I have played Runescape, like, a lot. And my account got banned, I think because I had an auto-clicker installed and I accidentally pressed the hotkey to activate it or something. And then I tried to appeal the ban and it was denied, so... Fuck, man, I spent days telegrabbing Zammy Wines to buy a membership bond out of free-to-play, and sustained membership through bonds for months, and did Wintertod to like firemaking 90, and killed legions of ammonite crabs, and all those hours spent didn't mean anything, and my account is gone forever. But maybe that ban saved me from the abyss, and now I'm free to play other games. I definitely don't have a wide breadth of MMO experience, but here's the thing about my time spent in RuneScape. It wasn't very social. Like, at all. But seeing other players running around while questing or skilling and just having the option to interact with them adds to the experience. I feel like I'm one insignificant little piece in this huge, beautiful tapestry of a world. It's a little weird, but I don't know, it's comforting not being the main character. So, to me, MMOs are about feeling that feeling while just having a whole lot of stuff to do, in service of watching numbers go up, grinding forever. There are even exclusively single-player games that try to replicate this. The idea of a single-player MMO, which is oxymoronic but also a testament that that genre term shouldn't be interpreted literally. People are seeking out games like this without actually craving an online experience. In Monster Hunter, you start off as the main character, and experience significant power spikes when building your first few armor sets and weapons, a little like an RPG. Then, when you reach the endgame, your power plateaus a bit. You get into a groove of killing hordes of monsters, having a mental list of goals, and endlessly striving towards optimal builds. Funnily enough, my experience with Monster Hunter Wilds has been far more social than RuneScape. At the end of the day, though, you can choose to do everything solo if that's what you prefer. It ends up being more like a single-player MMO. There are a lot of little factors that contribute to the impression of an MMO that I didn't mention. Top of the list being that Wilds is the most open-world Monster Hunter to date. It's not just this series. A lot of games are heading in the direction of incorporating more MMO-like mechanics to make them seem more like platforms that get ongoing support as opposed to confined products of development that are released in entirely finished states. Of course, there are a lot of downsides to this approach, which is a conversation for another day. I always have and always will love Monster Hunter, even in the face of how much it's changed. The saving grace is that the heart of the series remains unchanged. The capability to get into a lobby with friends and watch the hours melt away as you endlessly murder monsters and expand the endangered species list. I love grinding with my friends. I love gaming. Oh yeah, also somehow I never mentioned that there's a whole ass MMO fight from Final Fantasy XIV in the game now. Oops.